Bulls Nation, it finally happened. AK and Mark Eversley is out of the Chicago Bulls life forever. Man, what a joyful day. We'll talk about it.
Get the lowdown on one of the most iconic basketball teams in the world. You're listening to Chicago Bulls Nation.
What is going on, Bulls Nation? What a surprise. What a surprise that happened today. I'm not gonna lie, I wasn't expecting this, not because they didn't deserve to be fired, but knowing the Bulls organization, knowing that they extended AK, my thought process was that no way in hell that they're gonna pay this guy not to be in the front office. But I was wrong. Maybe a change for the better is coming. Maybe Michael Reinsdorf really does think of the Bulls as, a prideful organization. Maybe, you never know. Because back in the day, and I'm talking about maybe 3, 4, 5 years ago, they're not going to pay a coach not to coach. But maybe Billy Donovan is in the precipice of doing that. There are reports that Billy might step into the front office role now that AK and Mark Eversley is gone. I don't know about that. I wasn't the biggest Billy Donovan fan as a coach. I'm not sure if I'm going to be the biggest fan as a head office player, out there. Knowing his rotations, he might just sign every guard in the league. So I don't know, because that's what he wants to play with. But with that being said, we'll talk about AK first. So with AK, I wasn't, and it came as a surprise because it feels like they finally embraced the tank. They finally embraced the rebuild. And this past offseason, this past trade deadline, I mostly agreed with the moves that they made, except for Ayo Dosunmu. I understand, trading away Vooch. That made sense. I understand trading for Ivy at the time. It didn't work out, but I'm okay with the move. The Kobe White, I'm glad that they didn't pay and re-sign the guy. There were reports that they're going to pay him. I didn't want them to make the same mistake as Patrick Williams did. Obviously Kobe is not as bad as Patrick Williams, but if you sign this guy for a massive contract, obviously you handcuff yourself. But they didn't make those mistakes. So I thought, I was like, hey, you know what? They're on the right path. And I'm going to talk about this in a different video, but we might have to thank Jaden Ivey for the firing of AK in this case. I think that is the last straw because like I said, it feels like they were on the right path. By that meaning they are rebuilding finally. There's nothing to say much, but maybe there's a hope. But the apprehension of the fans are warranted, saying that, hey, you might be tanking, but do you really trust this guy to make another pick? And that is why I applaud this decision right now, because they fired the front office not after the season, but now they have this intense search. I hope it's Bob Myers. I hope it's somebody competent. That's why I'm not rooting for Billy Donovan in this case. I hope it's somebody with experience with, I don't know, Masai Ujiri. Is he available or whatever? He's not. But, somebody like that is what I'm saying. That could maybe give this Bulls team some sort of relevance, some sort of cachet, so to speak. Because, with all this, we might end up with a pretty good draft pick. Let's just say we went to the top 4. That's hard to screw up, first and foremost. If you go to the top 4, I think the numbers are already set, right? But if you don't go to the top 4, that's where it kind of gets a little tricky, and the Bulls, with the Bulls' luck, they'll probably stay at 9, which is better than 13, or 12, where they normally position themselves at. But they miss draft picks after another. And you can't do that if you are a team that is not very talented. They hit one in Matas Buzelis, but that's kind of like handed to them. That was given to them because no one picked the guy. and he landed in the Bulls' lap. But I'm excited for what's next for the Chicago Bulls. I'm not gonna lie to you. I am excited. I feel like this is a turning of the page. And quite honestly, if you are a GM, the Bulls are not in a bad position. They might be picking 2 in the first round. With our pick and Portland's pick, we have a ton of cap space. We have young talent in Matas Buzelis. Noah Essingay here. We don't know what we have, but he's still, he's a lottery pick. He's a young draft pick. We have obviously Josh Giddey and tons of, cap space. Now there's a lot of work. There's a lot of holes in this team. You can't be like, hey, you sign a guy and you draft this player and then all of a sudden you will win 50 games. That's not going to happen for the Bulls. Although, I also wouldn't be surprised if that happens. But I'm excited. I'm excited finally that there's a different voice. Because with AK, as much as I like what they did this past off season, there's this lingering, here we go. And they got blamed for Jaden Ivey going, this on a tirade. They probably couldn't have foreseen that, but I'm sure the backlash that they received, now we're receiving, media attention, national media attention for cutting a guy for, they said conduct detrimental, but to some people they view it as, hey, he's just voicing his religious beliefs. But I think that's the straw that broke the camel's back here as far as AK is concerned. But I'm hoping that we get a new coach. Hey, let's just clean up. Let's get Jenkins, Myers, and think of the other GM that you can put in there. I haven't really looked at the possible candidates, but like I said, this is going to be an attractive job because the Bulls are not in a hellhole right now. It's not like they traded away, their next 5 first rounder. We own all of our first rounders. We have a plethora of cap space, and we have, a couple of young talents that, might be building blocks. You never know. You never know yet. But I am interested to see what's going to happen next. This got me excited. I'm not going to lie. And I was pleasantly surprised with this move. I can't wait for Billy Donovan. I'm just upset that Mike Malone got the UNC job because I'm hoping Billy Donovan would get that. I really don't want Billy in this anywhere near this team, this next iteration as a GM, as a vice president of basketball. I don't want him near the Bulls at all. But let me know in the comments, how do you feel about this? And who are your prime candidates to replace AK and Mark Eversley? Honestly, I don't really know what Mark Eversley did for the Bulls. I am so confused on what his role really is. But let me know in the comments, who do you feel should succeed them and who should succeed Billy Donovan as well, just in case he leaves. I hope he leaves. But thank you for watching. Subscribe to the channel if you're a Bulls fan, and I'll see you in the next one.